Hi BookTube, it's Amy. So it's about 6 o'clock here, and my Black Squirrel Books mystery box just arrived. We've got the Black Squirrel stamp on the top there. And it smells delicious. There is a small package of coffee that I ordered in here, and it's just wafting out of the box. I went downstairs to grab it from the buzzer room, and the moment I opened the door, I could just smell the coffee. And so that's going to be quite delicious. They spelt my last name wrong again for some reason. They keep adding an R to it. They did that last time I ordered the box, and certainly I know I'm spelling my name correctly when I order, but for some reason they're not. So last time I was able to choose the genre I wanted, but this time when I ordered, I noticed they had removed that ability to select the genre, so I have no idea what's in this box. Fiction, non-fiction, we'll see, but I ordered one of the mystery boxes of books along with $10 worth of tea and the $5 add-on of coffee. And Black Squirrel Books is, of course, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, used bookstore here in Ottawa, and they're located on Bank Street. And, oh, this is funny. Thanks from Black Squirrel Books. And I think it's a beaver, a little beaver, because there's the little teeth, and there's the tail. And the beaver is reading a book on teeth. So that's kind of cute. So here we go. This is my tea that I ordered. This is the Anastasia Tea. And this little baggie of tea, I actually don't know if they were selling tea before the pandemic, but this is the type of tea that I would have when I would go into the shop on a Monday evening or a Saturday afternoon and have a cup of tea while I read. This is my favorite tea from them. And the Anastasia is sort of an Earl Grey sort of tea, which is why I got it. So that is loose leaf. I do have a tea basket, and I guess I have no excuse for being lazy during the pandemic. I always say I use, regular old tea bags because I'm lazy, but I have plenty of time to brew my own tea and to wash out the basket and whatnot. And then this is what smells good in here. This would be the medium roast trifecta espresso medium grind coffee. And oh, that smells so good. I don't recall whether I got to select the type I wanted or whether it was a surprise, but this little baggie of coffee, which is quite full, it's full up to about here, was an additional $5 add-on to the box. So on to the mystery books. We have I Love It When You Talk Retro by Ralph Keyes, St. Martin's Press. There is sort of a comic book cover to this one. I've never heard of this book. It would, of course, be fiction, I believe. Or maybe it's nonfiction. I think it might be nonfiction, just because of what it looks like when I open it up. Yeah, this looks nonfiction to me. So let's read this dust jacket leaf here. You sound like a broken record. Doesn't make much sense to a generation that grew up with iPod buds in their ears. Terms such as stuck in a groove and flip side could also be puzzling. Today's Gen Whatevers may not know who Nurse Ratched is, the size of a bread box, or why 1984 was a year to be concerned about. I Love It When You Talk Retro discusses verbal artifacts such as these, ones that hang around in our national conversation long after the topic they referred to has galloped off into the sunset. This could be a person, Gorgeous George, products, Edsel, past bestseller, Catch-22, old radio show, Gangbusters, comic strip, Alphonse and Gaston, or long forgotten advertisement, Where's the Beef? We all use the catchphrase cha-ching But how many realize that this slang term for money was introduced in a 1992 ad for the Rally's fast food chain? Ralph Keyes takes us on an illuminating and engaging tour through what he calls retro talk. His book explains where retro terms come from and why they've struck a chord. Mrs. Robinson, the seductive character Anne Bancroft plays in The Graduate, is far more evocative than an older woman who seduces a younger man. Cooties is much more fun to say than lice. Doofus, more pithy than a clueless individual. Yet few who use the terms realize that the former originated as World War I soldier slang, the latter in the comic strip Popeye. I love it when you talk retro will enrich the reader's store of language lore. This journey along the highways of history and byways of culture is an invaluable handbook for anyone who's ever thought about an obscure word or phrase. I wonder where that came from. So this is definitely nonfiction, and this sounds very interesting indeed. I might actually pick this up and read a little bit of it tonight. So there's the first book. I love it when you talk retro. Oh, and then we've got a copy of A Fine Balance by Roston Mystery. This is one that I've never read it, but I recall this image on the cover here. Being in the library of my hometown where I grew up, I used to look at it as a teenager, but it never really interested me all that much. It's set in India in the 1970s, and yeah, I'm not sure whether I'll want to read this or not. I will set this aside and perhaps pick it up after I've given it some more thought. Sweetness in the Belly by Camilla Gibb. So I've already got a copy of this one over on the shelf. That's okay, I'll just drop this off into a little free library or something at some point. I think we all know what this one is. We've got Room by Emma Donoghue. Title of this one sounds familiar. To 5-year-old Jack, room is the world. It's where he was born. It's where he and Ma eat, play, sleep, and learn. There are endless wonders that let loose Jack's imagination, the snake under bed that he constructs out of eggshells, the coziness of wardrobe beneath Ma's clothes, where she tucks him in safely at night. In case old Nick comes, room is home to Jack, but to Ma it's the prison where she's been held since she was 19, for 7 long years. Through her fierce love for her son, she has created a life for him in that 11 by 11 foot space. But Jack's curiosity is building alongside her own desperation, and she knows that room cannot contain either indefinitely. Told in the inventive, funny, and poignant voice of Jack, Room is a celebration of resilience and a powerful story of a mother and son whose love lets them survive the impossible. So that does sound interesting, not something I would normally read, but if I'm looking for something a little lighter, maybe I'll dig into this. And I know it sounds odd because that's obviously a heavy topic, but it's just a little novel here. And then we have, oh, that's really random. Some sort of conjugative verbs. I'm not even sure what language. I guess it's French because it's from Quebec. Oh yeah, that's French. So it's a little book of verbs and conjugations, and I suppose that could come in handy when I finally get down to studying French. Let's see, what year is this? 1980. So that's the final interesting one in the box. Out of all of these, the I Love It When You Talk Retro sounds the most interesting, followed by the Emma Donoghue, and then maybe A Fine Balance or Sweetness in the Belly. The conjugated verbs are a bit random, but as they said, it is a mystery box, and I don't think I'm going to make myself any of this coffee right now, but I may dig into some of the tea and make myself some of this coffee in the morning. So once again, you know that I love to support local bookstores, independent bookstores, especially ones here in Ottawa at the moment. So that is my mystery box, and I hope you're all having an excellent Wednesday.